We ready?
Almost. I'm going to switch it to the Jim's on me. He's in the wait list on Zoom.
Okay, so go ahead. We all right now?
Oh, stupid. So let people in, so.
We go ahead.
But this time,
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure why the owl's not one. Come on. But it's- So we're running.
Okay. Well, wait a few minutes.
At the salaries you're paid, you're wasting time.
Well, we're waiting, who remembers? And this was the pro shop. Cart Barn was here. What was the name of that convenience store out there?
I don't.
Bryson City, Bryson something like that. Yeah. And it was, boy, things changed.
You're
Just a few
Dating
changes.
myself.
Just a few changes.
Oh, this office was right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be our historian?
No, Helen does a good job of that.
She does, she does. Do you want to turn it off and start?
Well, I would have to cut the meeting off and cut it back on, but, well, it was working right before I hit record. I don't know why I found the person.
So it's not going to record it?
No, the meeting's being recorded, but the owl's not on. I mean, it's on, but it's not panning green like it's supposed to be.
Maybe turn it around.
Oh, it's 360. It's
Okay.
I'll move it.
360.
So it's not showing you anything? Huh.
I mean, the meeting's being recorded. There's people online Zoom.
They
but-
just won't be able to see us.
Yeah, but technology.
That's what you want me to do. You want to try to redo it or?
It said it's giving me error in there. Cannot start video. I don't know what's going on with Ken. I mean, the meeting's recorded. They did this last time. We had a meeting here. About halfway through it, I was finally able to start recording.
You think it's the Wi-Fi strength here?
I mean, I don't think it's Wi-Fi. I mean, I think it's just, I don't.
Can we restart?
I'm going to get the blanket back.
Everyone's muted. Interesting. Well, I don't know if you can hear me, but no, I cannot hear anything.
It looks in my screen that all of you are have your mute. So if you go to, yeah, so I think that you should go to your corner and or unmute it, whoever is going to conduct this meeting. Sorry, and hi.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. Can you hear me? Great,
Yes, thank you,
Good.
Gordon.
thank you.
All right. Can everyone hear now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, they can hear. They can't see Madam Mayor, but they can hear. So anyway,
All right, if you'll take your report,
okay, thank you.
Jason.
Morning, everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties here, but that's what you get with a live meeting.
Good.
Got several things to report. I'm pleased to say that the Sky Valley Way Culvert project is nearing completion. As we all know, this has been a challenging project, to say the least. The Sky Valley Way is the main thoroughfare in and out of the city. Additionally, issues with heavy weather, rain, and then even issues able to obtain concrete have added difficulty. From speaking with the contractor this morning, they are planning to pave this section of road tomorrow. The asphalt plant has been down for a couple of weeks, but we should have favorable weather. So that should happen tomorrow. So that should be winding down. The tree company spent the past couple of weeks clearing out approximately 1 mile of old vegetative growth down at the Evergreen Extension. This is the emergency road we've talked about. The road is in horrible shape. I mean, obviously it needs to be addressed, but they've been able to come in and clear a swath. We're still waiting on the county with their verbal commitment to come in and do what they're going to do. We're hoping they'll be here the next couple of weeks to make that happen. There are water lines and power lines down that way, underground power. We are going to, from speaking with Jerry, we are going to try to cut the water on down there. We're anticipating many, many leaks with 30 years in the ground. Obviously, we want to address that before we try to do anything such as prepping the road, paving, etc. So, but progress is being made there. Speaking of paving, the paving of this road is one of 4 sealed bids that we put out requests for. We received 2 qualifying bids to pave this road. We are in the process of reviewing those bids, following up with the bidders to ensure accuracy, reconfirming their timelines, etc. And we hope to be coming back with a full report and recommendation by our meeting next month. We received 1 qualifying bid for the renovation of the old visitor center. Again, we were reviewing that. We'll be following up with the bidder to reconfirm the scope of that project and their timeline, and we should see that again next month. We did not receive any qualifying bids for Public Works truck or for the pickleball court, although we have received unbid quotes for both. I've been working with a local real estate appraiser to determine the value of the several pieces of property that the city identified several months ago to potentially sell. In fact, we should have those appraisals back hopefully the next few days, and we'll be bringing that before you all very soon as well. With the warmer weather approaching, we'll be getting the grass cutting season soon. We will be asking citizens to treat those areas as a construction zone and driving through simply because of the noise and the potential for flying debris. We are, like everybody else, we're closely monitoring ever rising costs and materials and supplies. Just everyday goods and services the city needs to operate is the price, like everything else, has increased exponentially. We're closely watching costs, but it is a factor that we, along with everybody else, is dealing with. As many of you may have already known, we've had some turnover in City Hall, particularly with our deputy clerk position. We've properly advertised, interviewed several candidates, and I'm pleased to announce that we've made an offer to a qualified candidate, and we're planning on them to start next Monday, the 25th. Their name is Monica Blaylock. They live in Clayton. They have a lot of skills that we need, transferable skills, and we're excited that they'll be coming on board, and we will certainly be introducing Ms. Blaylock at our next meeting day. And finally, I just want to say that the T-Splosh penny tax started on April 1st of this month. I reached out to Darren Giles, the county manager, a couple of weeks ago. Basically, what he told me, this is new territory, that the money, they're still working out the details of how that money will start trickling in. But once it becomes available, we'll start seeing our proper proportions. And that's all I have for my report, Madam Mayor. I don't have them in front of me, but just from the two bids that we received for the road paving, one was Precision Paving, one was Colwell Paving out of Blairsville. I think Precision Paving was $260,000, maybe 270. Colwell was 174,000, I believe, and that would be to pave approximately 1 mile of road. On the other project, the visitor center, we received a bid of, I think, $89,000 from Oliver Construction Company. And then we received what I would call an unofficial bid because it was emailed in. It was not sent either through in person or through snail mail. And it was for $260,000 to renovate. So it was really not even a competitive bid. We received an unofficial bid to do one pickleball court, $83,000. That was emailed in. It was not submitted properly. Obviously, that price is astronomical. And then we did not receive any bids for a truck. As we all know, with the issues of trying to find vehicles, there was really no surprise there. So, but I will have full report, full details by our next meeting. Yeah.
Jason, I didn't hear the question, and it sounds like maybe the mayor's online.
That's what we're
maybe she
doing. I
is-
mean, that's what I
Okay.
mentioned. We're in the process of, I want to reconfirm with these bidders, particularly when you have this discrepancy, particularly like with the road, you've got almost $100,000 difference in price. I want to make sure that they fully understand the scope. I mean, it's an old road bed. We know that it's only going to be about 12 feet wide paved. You've got existing ditches, existing power, existing water lines. So you've got a very narrowly defined road. And of course, we know the intent of that road is to be an emergency road. We have received a grant to pave that road that would go for $100,000 of that through GDOT. So yeah, we will make sure that they fully understand that what we're getting, and we should have that by our next meeting. That is what
Jason.
we were referring to. That is the criteria that we use to secure that grant. But I do want to state that because if we use state dollars, we can't gate the road. I was told that, but yeah, it would, I mean, certainly people will use it, but the intent is even with the new culverts, we get a foot of rain, probably gonna be glad when that road's open. Yes.
Jason, there is down at the bottom of the road on Mr. Boshert's property, which we have the right of way across, there's a pretty tight turn. Can we check with the various fire departments to make sure that the vehicles that might respond up that road would be able to get around that tight curve?
Lost of that for the last several years. Second part, that's a primary cost. Trying to figure out how do we pay, how do we get there.
Yeah, there are. Several times. We want to talk about that.
Designated. There are requirements. No, nature trails. Things, but it's all still on the table. We're trying to figure out exactly which way to go with it because there are so many restrictions on it and they're watching it.
I would think that because it is a designated trout stream, that would be very helpful in us getting a grant to maintain it the way it was, because all that silt and everything in there now, that's not natural.
Right.
That was,
No, you're absolutely right. And that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to either dredge it or recreate the banks of a good stream and, you know, make it deep enough to support good trout habitat. The way it is now, it's not good. So we know that.
thank you.
Ms. McAfee.
Hi, Deborah McAfee, 776 Alpine Drive, Sky Valley. The question, do we currently now have a lease enforced with Merrill to utilize that property?
Yes.
Okay, then one step further, can that lease be amended to allow us as lessee to seek grants? I mean, I don't know what the lease agrees, but I think that should be something that would be looked at. Because, I mean, as owner, Merrill right now has the authority to go for a grant. If it's not in our lease agreement, forget it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good point.
Mr. McAfee.
Real quick, we might be looking at that whole thing wrong. It might be easier and cheaper to elevate the road than to do something at the trout stream. Just a point.
We can throw it in the mix, can't we? To be
You know, it's
discussed.
worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that area gets very deep water. Wouldn't take much.
There's a. There's money in the mailbox. Ever growing. Thank you.
Committee.
Right. That is. All right, reports. Mr. Schuler.
Tomorrow, maybe into that, once we get taken care of. Starting back. back to us at both again. Always. I don't know.
It's the curse.
Yes, but anyway, we continued with the backhoe and some of it looks bad where it's been, but get the leaf back going back, we're gonna go back and touch some of that up and we've got the bucket truck out today started on some canopy clearing and the other, but, had several more obstacles about water leaks and this, that, and the other that we had to get through and, probably gonna have some more, if y'all noticed, we've got board companies, board crews in here that's doing windstream, fiber optic throughout the city. Georgia Power's in here doing a lot of stuff. And just, I appreciate everybody working with us. We get there, we'll get back on that road and be able to get done what we need to get done. And, grass season, like Jason said, is coming up and, went through the mowers and stuff yesterday and getting them ready and, I think Mark Wanamaker might be gonna do a little bit to help us get so we can continue to leaf back. Do some canopy clearing and get it where we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for all you do. Anybody have any questions of Mr. Show? Yes, sir.
Wally Shear, 1121 South Ashland.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Wally Shear,
Okay, thank you.
1121 South Ashland.
Thank you.
Did I hear you say that the leaf picker up or whatever you call it is broken, but you're hoping to get it fixed, and once you do, you will be out?
I have ordered the part, it is on its way. And as soon as it gets back and we get it put back together, it will be back out there. And the areas that we can use the backhoe to clear with, we've been using it, but it don't do a real beautiful job, so, we're just doing what we can. We'll be back through this to live back.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Jerry. All right. Police chief. You're up.
If you're right, can be heard. Everything's been going good, with the police department. We've, as recently with the culvert project, we've been dealing with a lot of traffic issues utilizing the Heatherstone Gate. We got a lot of positive and negative comments about the use of that gate, as much traffic as was going through their neighborhood. But let's focus on the positive of that was we did get a lot of positive comments that they were happy to see law enforcement in their neighborhood because they never see it, ever. And they were happy to see that and had to field a few questions about what would it take for us to get y'all over here more often? And I'm like, well, you're not in the cities. So, but it did spawn a lot of interest about that. So yeah, there was a lot of negative, but there was also some positive that came out of that. And I don't think they realized how much traffic we have coming through here until we started cutting through their neighborhood. Department-wise, our biggest news and point of concern is, David, would you like me to tell them, or would you like to be the bearer of the bad news? We will be losing David for at least a year, if not more. He has been called up to active duty with his military. As you all know, he's in the Guard. He's been in the Guard for many years. He has been called up for active duty for a minimum of 400 days. And it can be extended beyond that if the need arises. So we will be losing him for at least that amount of time. As you all know, we preserve his job. He stays on our books. He stays as is, and we preserve his job. So when he does come back, he picks right up where he left off. No harm, no foul, no anything on that. And we hate to see him go because he's such an important part of our department. We wish him well and safety while he's gone. As far as the city goes, as far as coverage goes, that kind of put us in a dilemma because we don't have the money in the budget to hire a replacement officer for that length of time. So I will be putting myself back on his shift. As you all may remember, when I first came here, I covered a shift for the first 2 years. It wasn't until we got enough manpower hired where I could actually become a chief and do the administrative jobs of the department. Well, I'll be putting myself on his shift and covering his hours, which will minimize the impact financially for the city. I mean, I'm already here anyway. I will be covering his shift. So you may not see me in the office Monday through Friday, business hours, because I may be on the off shifts, because they work 4, they're off 4. So if I'm not there, I will still be available, you know, like as usual through email and everything of that nature. But that will save us money, keep our department full shift so we don't have to go to uncovered shifts. That's the big concern that the city has repeatedly expressed, is we don't want to have uncovered shifts. Because if we're uncovered, no one north of Clayton patrols 24 hours. And a lot of times Clayton has shortages as well. So that keeps us from being uncovered. So we will maintain 24-hour coverage throughout his absence. But that's the biggest news we have, is that we will be losing David for that extended period of time. If there's any questions to that, I really don't have any information, and he can't provide us any because we're not supposed to divulge where he's going or anything like that at this time. You guys with the military background, you understand that. So that's really about all we have right now. Everything's going well for us, department-wise, other than the fact that we're going to be losing David. Hog activity, bear activity, things like that are on the rise. Coyotes have returned. At this time of the year, that's to be expected. A couple of years ago, we had some sightings of some wolves up on Bayberry and up in that area. We're now getting some reports again of some wolves in the area, down the Evergreen area where they're building the road. Wolves are being heard at night, howling and carrying on. And DNR has released 4 pairs in our area, is what we were told. So North Carolina a couple of years ago did it. So they're in the area, they're indigenous to this area. It's nothing to be alarmed with, but that also keeps down the other things, because there was no predators in the area for so long. So they're reintroducing animals to the area. No alarm here on our part. But if you hear anything or see anything that looks curious to you, just give us a call. We'll come out and check it out. We maintain an open line of communication with the DNR people anyway, especially David does with the hawk control and things of that nature. He's been on top of that. Most of those hawk control duties will still be intact while he's gone, in case anyone's concerned. Officer Webb, Charlie Webb, one of our night shift guys, will be taking over pretty much that mantle and running with that for us. He's been working with David on the hogs for what, David, about a year and a half? Yeah, so he knows everything. David's just making sure that he understands all that equipment, because some of that equipment is sophisticated that he uses, but it should be a seamless transition there.
Are the wolves a predator to the hogs?
Well, we've asked that. They will chase them, they will run them, and they will get them, but mostly they eliminate the coyotes.
Oh.
And the coyotes is what gets our house cats, our small dogs and things like that anyway. So, but
Chief, I have a question. You mentioned the budget doesn't allow to replace him per year. I don't understand that.
Well, his salary stays with him intact. I would have to pay him and hire another officer. And we haven't, that's a whole another can of worms.
So that's another conversation we need to have. Is how can we-
Yeah, we would have to develop a new position, find funding for it and everything like that. And that wasn't done because none of us anticipating this. It kind of blindsided him and all of us when the orders came in. It was like, whoa, okay.
Let's put that on our list, Jason.
But we will maintain 24-hour shifts. That was our goal.
Especially with these days.
Yes, sir.
Everything going on.
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell Ron that we're all thinking about him and his granddaughter?
Yes, I will. I definitely will. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I forgot.
Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
Chief.
You know,
It's working out. Who knows?
David, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
One last trip.
All right, thank you, Chief. Next on the agenda is the committee reports. I want to thank all our citizens who volunteer for all our committees and our commissions. We, council could not do our job as well as we would like to without their input, and we certainly appreciate all of them. With that, how about Bruce? You talk about the Special Projects Committee.
We're continuing forward with Fall Fest. Our goal is to get about 50 vendors, and we're going to put them in the CBC parking lot. We've identified probably about 23 or 25 so far. We have a long list of vendors that we have solicited in the past. The only records I've been able to find are from 2017, but there's a considerable list of vendors that we're going to solicit. We're also, mostly, I guess, Holly and I are going to talk about the 4th of July festivities. We're looking at adding or continuing the classic car show that we've had in the past. It's been very successful. Another thing is, and I'm going to send a shout out through POA to do the road cleanups coming in and out of Sky Valley. I'd like to coordinate that with the police and with the zip line, because George Powell adopted that highway from, I think, the visitor center or the welcome center up to the junction. So if we can coordinate the Sky Valley group and the zip line group to where we can have the police kind of shadow us while we're doing our cleanup, especially that that road from the junction down to the visitor center. And also I'm going to revisit with the Shelley at the timeshare park to see what plans they have to renovate the park there, because if anybody knows, when you come in, it looks like a swamp there when it rains. Some of the wood on the slides and the toys down there look a little rugged, and it's what everybody sees when they first come in Sky Valley. So I'm going to revisit Shelley and see if we can get that moving forward. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Bruce. Comments or questions for Bruce? Yes, Chief.
Just a quick couple of things. If we're gonna use this parking lot for the vendors, we need to figure out where we want the cars for the patrons to park, because that will become a quick issue. And as far as the cleanup on the road, the section of road we're talking about is North Carolina. We will have to contact them to see if we can't take any action on their road at all without their permission. And we usually get it, but they make us come in and ask anyway, because if we ask them, they're not going to do it. And then they will then allow us to do it. So that's something that we can address in advance. I just wanted you to be aware.
No, and that's good.
Thank you, Chief, and
Yes, ma'am.
we'll get you to make that phone call.
And as far as the vendors of parking, we're still working that out. We've discussed a couple options of possibly busing them from having parked at the visitor center, busing them in, and we have other options that we really have not finalized, but yeah, we're looking into that. Mr. Macy.
Last one that I was very active working in, we had the vendors up here and we ran them back and forth with golf carts. The parking from the parking. Why did they decide to move from up there and move it down here?
Like I say, nothing's been carved in stone, Rudy. We're going to entertain a lot of, but you saw as the vendors?
Yeah.
You're talking about the
I
vendors?
was talking about the guests.
Oh, okay.
So the vendors were up there.
Well, I mean, the guest parking,
We had the golf carts and we go back and forth.
the guest parking, we're going to utilize the chapel, and most of the festival is going to be pretty much from, we're going to try to utilize the city pavilion, but there's going to be a lot of parking we're going to utilize back there. So we should be okay with parking. We lost the classic car show, talked with the club, and they said they have spots possibly for 30, 40 vehicles. But in the past Fall Fest, we've had that area back there at our disposal, And since then, the club has all that, but they've agreed that, you know, they could do some of the food vendors and allow space for classic car, which in the past we used for vendors.
Has a date been set for that?
October 15th, 2022.
I'll do the help. I'll do that. I'll be able to.
Well, and that's another thing on our list to go for volunteers, because there's going to be a lot of events and guiding people around. So definitely.
You got his name,
Who?
number one.
What's his name?
His name's Rudy, I believe. Anybody else?
RUDY.
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 Rudy with a Y.
Thank you, Rudy.
You're welcome.
Bill, would you like to give the mayor or advisory committee report?
Yeah, I think the outstanding thing right now is been working with Harrison Merrill Jr. Really related to what their future plans are for development here, specifically in this area where we're sitting right now. They've got several other projects going on, so it has not been a priority for them here. They were enthusiastic about the fact that we might be able to solve the waste disposal problem with sewer, but nothing has moved forward with that. You know, the suggestion was from them was to get together for a planning meeting with their planners and us to determine what it is we would like to do, or what they would like to do, what we would like to do. Is there some middle ground there that becomes accretive to what we want to have happen in our community? From that point on, if we can reach that kind of agreement, then dollars could be spent on a feasibility study, which is a very important part to get this done. Also, to secure financing for them, secure possibly grants for us, etc. So at this point, nothing has moved forward right now in terms of that planning meeting. And there'll be some follow-up happening this week, see if we can reset that. That's my update.
Thank you, Bill. Comments or questions?
Question, Paul, we look very Cutter Lane. Are they still looking at reopening the ski area here?
They, not specifically. I think where they are, what he has stated, and in a meeting that he presented to all of us about a year or so ago, they want to see some sort of off-season demand generator. They believe that's one of the keys to make the whole investment for them work. That's where the sticking point is right now, you know, because that's a pretty significant investment for them. Don't know that the feasibility study will stand up. That's why they want to do it. And in our conversations, that's why the suggestion was, let's get the planners together and see if we can come to some sort of middle ground that seems to work for everybody.
Thank you.
And we will, of course, involve the community in all these discussions too, so that you all know what's going on also. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Bill. Do we have Debbie Dollhouse online so she can give her report?
She is, I'm gonna ask her to. unmute.
Yes, I'm on Zoom. Can you hear me? Okay, we are not a committee. We are merely an advisory group. And our little band of happy gardeners met with Mark Wanamaker on March 22nd. And he will continue his contract with the city to do all the mowing and do the mowing in certain areas and do the mulching, fertilizing. In addition to that, he will plant annual flowers at the front entrance, as he has done for the last couple of years. He will prune the shrubs, it's called dog hobble, at the corner of Ridgepole and Sky Valley Way, right there at the lodge, so that it's easier for motorists to see who's coming down or coming up Ridgepole at that sharp turn. Is working with the Garden Club to expand. He has already expanded a planting bed at Big Bear, where it intersects with Sky Valley. The Garden Club will plant more perennial flowers there. He will plant some cherry trees that the Garden Club bought across from the old lodge, because the ones that are there are dying. He will continue to spread the daylilies at the post office and plant new annual flowers in front of it. And the POA, Property Owners Association, and the Garden Club have reimbursed him for work he did last summer, 2021. I sent a written list to Jason and the mayor of, as well as the POA and the Garden Club, what that included. And the POA and Garden Club had agreed to pay for that work. So that has been taken care of. We want to make everything look good for the visitors and the residents. So if you have any comments, complaints, or preferably compliments, please let me know.
Thank you, Debbie. Debbie, could you also mention the work that you and I think 3 other folks did, and you call it your kudzu crew at the waterfall?
Yes, in December, I believe, a group of us treated the hemlocks along Mud Creek Trail to protect them from an invasive insect called the woolly adelgid. While we were doing that, we noticed that kudzu had grown up and was taking over the signature hemlock right there at the waterfall. And I want to give a shout out to Rudy Macy, because he organized a group a few years ago to try and remove the kudzu. It was a good effort, but the kudzu came back. So we tried a different approach. Steve Rickman, who is part of our landscaping advisory group, was one of our kudzu crew. Jim Curtis, who is one of our outstanding city council members, was another member. And Lena Peterson, who is a resident on Sheep Cliff, also joined us. We cleared just the area around the big hemlock, and we'll try to tackle some more of the kudzu there at the trailhead later in the season.
Thank you, Debbie, and I want everybody to know that they already worked 8 hours just doing that around that hemlock tree, and we appreciate everything that you all do to make our city look beautiful. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Weaver.
I'm a little bit confused. So on the city's website, we got a landscape advisory committee.
Yeah. It should not have been called that.
Okay, well, if it's not a committee, how would they have the authority to go do business with the contractor on behalf of the city?
They don't, they do it through the city. They recommend to the city.
Mayor,
Yeah.
No, until you're.
You think they have to be a committee? Okay, all right, so then they're a committee. But they do go through the city for recommendations.
Okay, this is a verbal open record request for all the meeting minutes for the landscape advisory committee since it's been formed.
They don't really have minutes because they're out and about we don't have Karen following them in the weeds, taking minutes.
Doug?
Yes, sir. They, anytime somebody works on behalf of the city, even if it's kind of on a volunteer basis and things like that, you do have to follow the open records and open meetings and stuff.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that they have to go and have somebody from the city out there taking their minutes anytime they meet.
They can just, we can send you the notes that they send us.
They can, yes. So the minutes do not have to be formalized. They can just be, here's what we talked about. And here's, things that we discussed. Doesn't have to be that long, to be a paragraph.
Okay,
So y'all have those in hand?
not right this moment, but we can get you some.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When we had a committee in the past, there were 23 people on the committee, and I would send an email to city. And I let them know, this is what we planned, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Coordinated well with you guys, came in and helped get rid of all the stuff we took out. So I think it would be simple to do that, and also, if that was publicized in the city newsletter, more than 4 people could have helped Debbie,
Right,
because people had known about it.
right. Thank you, Rudy. Okay.
I would like to invite Mr. Wheeler to join us since he doesn't have anything better to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Let that make it.
All right. Any other comments? Yes.
Debbie from 77 Alpine. Isn't Debbie Curtis already doing that, sending an email to you guys and saying this is what we're doing?
Sure. That's what I said I could
That one,
send.
so that I was name for minutes.
I don't have it with me.
They just don't have,
Yeah,
but I don't. That was
we
my.
can get that.
observation, so it should
We
be
can
fine.
get that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. All right, there's Gordon online. He's going to give us a little update on marketing.
Yes, let me ask him to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Gordon. Go ahead.
You're welcome. Well, again, and then again, good morning. And for those who don't know me, my name is Gordon Brand. I first want to thank, it's a pleasure to serve the chair of the marketing committee and be part of the committee's vital efforts to market our wonderful city. The market committee members and volunteers are really talented and are committed to serve the interest of the city. The first part of my report is that the marketing committee is working on the committee's 2022 budget, including expenditures, and will present the budget for your approval at the May council meeting. The second part of my report include the Sky Valley Timeshares Incorporated, the marketing committee's endeavors. The committee had a meeting with board chairman Jerry Sperling. We are still waiting that Timeshares board's decision if they will join the marketing committee. Thirdly, the City of Sky Valley visitor website is being refined. The committee hopes everyone will check it out. That essentially is the end of my report. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Gordon. Thank you. Comments, questions? Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, Ms. Poinkowski would like to speak about Flint Knob Trail and Sky to the Summit update. Anywhere you're comfortable.
Okay, I am Susie Poinkowski, and I, first of all, would like to state, based on things that have just happened with the committee and all of that, I am not part of a committee, I am not part of an advisory group. And if you don't want me to go through this, I don't have to, but I am going to be talking about the Flint Knob Trail project, simply information passing along. Sean Blanton did present to the council in, I think it was October. And at that time, Madam Mayor appointed this project to the
Special
projects group. Sorry, I'm not part of that. I'm just going to share information that I have found that I think might be of interest, not only that committee, but to our citizens in general.
Okay.
So is it okay that I?
Sure.
All right, I'll give a little bit of background again. Some people have heard this, some not. I think it's worth repeating. The Flint Knob Trail is accessed off of Flint Knob Drive. Continuing on Flint Knob Drive toward past Bayberry, there is a little sort of like a driveway, maybe used to be a driveway, and head up that, turn left on the driveway, which is pretty clearly marked. And then there's like an area that somebody has carved out for parking. From there, you can see the trail. There's no marking for the trailhead. And that is kind of the project that we're looking at. And Sean Blanton is the spearhead of this project. I'll explain again who he is. He is a trail runner from Atlanta. He owns a company called Run Bum Tours. And he runs 12 races, mostly in North Georgia. He's doing an inaugural one this weekend called The Shadows of the South. And that is a 100-mile run, trail run from North Carolina, Auto, all the way through Georgia into North Carolina, or South Carolina, I'm sorry. So 3 states. So his project, from talking to him a lot, his main love is the Flint Knob Trail. And for those of you who don't know, it would be worth getting out and exploring it. If you don't know how to access it, somebody here, including myself, Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Quinkowski, will be able to direct you, just so you can see it. It's a beautiful trail, and the coolest thing about it is that it leads, it's a 1.1 mile, it leads directly to the Bartram Trail. And the Bartram Trail alone covers 60 miles in North Carolina and South Carolina. You have free access once you get on the Flint Knob Trail. Then from the Bartram Trail, you head up toward North Carolina and you intersect the AT, the Appalachian Trail at Way of All. And there you can go up to Maine. It also, I found out, the Bartram also leads to the Chattooga River Trail. And I'm not sure, we've been on the Chattooga River Trail, I'm just not sure where it intersects, but believe me, it does. So Sean Blanton is trying to get support and permission from many groups in the county and in the area to make this a legitimate trailhead. And that way, people can come up. I have gone on, I Googled Flint Knob Trail, and what comes up is an official entry for all trails, and it gives you directions to the Flint Knob already, so it's there. But I read some of the comments, and there were many comments that said, beautiful trail, I've heard, but I couldn't find it, and I'm a Sky Valley resident, and I don't know, I didn't recognize the name, but anyway, this man said, I looked for the trailhead, I was given directions, I couldn't find it, and I went home. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. And in order to make Flint Knob an official trail, Sean has done a ton of work behind the scenes. He met on January 24th with a group called Co-Trails. That consists of the U.S. Forest Service people, the trail groups in the area, the bike trail people, and just several other random people. He was put on the agenda for that to introduce the idea of this Flint Knob Trail. He said 100% of the people in the group were in support. They would love to see more access and trailheads for the Bartram Trail. The Forest Service, have noticed a significant increase in trail usage, probably due to COVID and people getting out. We who hike pretty much daily have noticed that that's kind of an informal thing, but we noticed a lot more people are out and about, which makes sense to me. So anyway, what we need to do is in my opinion only, is to keep moving forward on that. There is one other significant thing happening in terms of the trailhead, and that is that there was a group of lots, a big group, a lot of property for sale and sold up on Drive. And these lots were sold, there are 3 of them, sold to one person, and they are adjacent to the Flint Knob Trail lot. that Flint Knob Trail lot is still for sale. I called the realtor a couple days ago, and he said, yes, we know who the owner is. That remaining lot is 2.7 acres. So that's something for us to consider. We can, you know, as a city, as a committee, as a group, whatever, move forward right now. And Sean is very much in favor. He has even offered to be in touch with the realtor and offer $20,000 for that lot, and then donate it to the city and begin the work. So beginning the work means going to the Forest Service and saying, we have this, you're in favor of Forest Service, can we designate this trail? Then all the other things have to happen, like making the trailhead parking, you know, putting up signs, but all of that can be done gradually. You know, raising money by having fun runs, or, you know, I'm not the ideal person per se, but I think there are plenty of ways to do fundraising for that and just do it gradually. So kind of like, what do we want to do? Any questions on that part of my thing?
Great suggestions. I like it.
Okay, do you have a cost on this particular real estate lot that's for sale? Total
It's
cost?
his asking price
Yeah.
is 80,000.
Oh,
And we know that
that's a lot of fundraising here.
no, he's not, that's asking. So Sean is going to offer him 20,000.
And we'll see what happens.
Right. And the other thing is, Sean has already called the realtor on this. He presented his idea. He said, I would like to offer $20,000. Now Sean's idea is offering the 20, making it into that whole 2.75 acres into a park with the trailhead, and naming the park after the owner. The owner, who I don't even know, obviously, he has since deceased, it's recent. His son owns it now, but the man himself, Harold Boring, was an avid bird watcher and a fisherman, and you know, he was a nature person. So obviously that's why he bought it. Mhm. Do you know him?
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know anybody.
I don't either. So, okay.
Susie, I have a question. If that does move forward and become a park, would it be a Sky Valley Park or would it be a state park? Who would it be our park to maintain and manage?
Right. I mean, we're talking about a trailhead sign, Sean says, oh, maybe a kiosk and a couple picnic tables, and then you can go from there. You know, that's pretty basic.
Mhm.
I guess you could still call that a park or picnic area or something.
Does sound great. I agree with you.
Several years ago, when my health was better, I hiked up there, and there were actually two different types of trail markers.
Yes.
And so I asked what those were, and one was put up by the state, and one was put up by the city. So somebody in Sky Valley with the city at one time put in trail markers up there. I don't know if
Bob Larson.
Bob Larson did. Okay, so that was that. So city has been doing stuff up there, but it was a while ago.
Yes. Al and I visited the ranger up there a couple years ago, and he said, it's not a decommissioned, it's not anything, because that's what we originally thought. Okay, if it's decommissioned, recommission it, and we'll be back. And he said, no, like Rudy's saying, anyone has permission to go into a national forest and do whatever you want, walk in it, blah, blah, blah. So that's exactly what somebody in Sky Valley, Bob Larson, that we've heard, did that. He did a nice job. It's all marked very clearly. You got these, I think he started out with, Rudy, do you remember the color? One was blue and one was.
I think it was red.
Red.
I think it was red.
So the red ones he put in originally maybe, and then they faded and then went back. Same style, but different color. And it was one of the well-marked trails that I've been on, because it's pretty frequent. But it's well used. I mean, you can, it's not like you're hiking in the wilderness. And then Sean has also gone up there and done a lot of maintenance. He made a new view. So there's at least 3 overlooks, which again, he would like to name. If you've ever been up to Chinquapin, they have view, you go up to the mountain and then they have overlook 1, overlook 2, overlook 3. So he's sort of thinking something like that tomorrow.
So that these overlooks are on the property, he's considering offering $20,000 for
No,
On the tree.
on the trail. Now, there is another little snag. I don't like to talk about it because it's, kind of, but the trail, we think, goes on Merrill's property. So Sean is willing, and he has in the past, talked to Harrison Merrill about just having usage of that. Can we have usage of that land? Because it's 1.1 miles. So if we could do that and talk him into letting us, I don't know.
Lease it.
If you get your hands on the map and outline that section for me, I'll bring it up to Harrison.
Okay, I have
And ask
one.
for an easement.
Okay, there is one that Sean created, and I'll just text it to you or email it to you.
Great.
Okay,
We'll get that over.
And that
Ask for
Harrison
an easement.
Merrill's property conjoins with the Bartram Trail? Is that what you're saying?
I think, yes, yes. Do you know?
That's North Carolina then.
I'm terrible at, but I see, the property that we're talking about is like a sliver, but it is 2.73 acres. And then above that is Harrison Merrill. There's several, it's a large plot. And then I think the Bartram part of it is heading more toward the Bartram Trail. You can't own land on a national forest, can you? I mean, park. So what it
Where this currently, where the trailhead is not on Harrison Merrill's property. If what Sean is proposing with his $20,000 offer, then that would be by that property that is not on Harrison Merrill's property.
Right.
If that falls through, then Plan B that Sean is talking about would be to try and get permission from Harrison Merrill and set the trailhead at a different location than it currently is now, and run about a couple of 100 feet through Harrison's property up to the existing trail. So it's kind of a moving target right now. So the first thing you need to look at is, will the current owner accept $20,000 on an $80,000 asking price for his property for someone to buy it and donate it to the city, and then have it become the city's. Another thing would be if somebody in the Special Projects Committee were to actually sit down with Sean and see if possibly through the city, because I'm guessing this pickleball court's gonna fall through, is that money could be used for helping to purchase this property to promote Sky Valley hiking. So,
We also, the possibility is we have many city lots that we're going to put up for sale, so maybe some of
right,
that
so there's,
monies could go that way also.
Perfect.
Right,
perfect.
right.
Really, either by hook or by crook, that's my feeling is,
Yeah.
we can work it out.
Right.
Sean's very, I'm sorry.
So I guess the next step is let's see if this deal goes through that Sean's proposed. And then
Yeah.
we
We
can
can
take further
certainly,
steps.
Bruce, you can certainly get Sean, we talked about having Sean come and work with this committee.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay, he would probably love that.
And, if and when that happens, I much appreciate y'all being there because you've got so much groundwork done already. I can talk to Sean all day long, but I don't really have
The report.
the information you have, so we'll work towards that.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions on that?
Do you know when the next run to the summit date is?
Yes, that's my next.
Okay.
Item. All right. The Sky to Summit,
excuse me.
there are some changes. And I just want to propose something else with the committee. This would be with the marketing committee. There is a date change. It was always the second week in November, like October 12th, 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. It has been changed this year to November 5th and 6th. I guess it was due to some hunting dates or something. I don't know. Because they do go through that wildlife management area. All right, so, and that is the reason for the date change. There's also has been a change in the course. This is kind of exciting. He has added a 100K to the menu. It always was 50K and 25K. Now it's the additional 100K. All of the races will still start in Sky Valley. They will, the 100K and the 50K will end somewhere in Clayton. I think one of them ends in Rainy Mountain, Camp Rainy Mountain, and then one of them beyond that. And it's a point to point, so you're not repeating anything. The 25K will remain as always on Sunday, and it is start and finish in Sky Valley. So here's the exciting news. The Sunday race begins at 8 o'clock in the morning and ends around 3 to 4. The runners start coming back in. This is Sean's 10th annual run. Now, that's pretty amazing. The other amazing thing is that this is his first, when he first went into business, this was his first race. And he has continued it for 10 years. I watched, there's a video, I wish we could show it to you, a 5-minute video that you can just, if you Google Sky to Summit 50K, or I think it's the 50K that they show. It's a professionally done video that he narrates, and it is amazing. He highlights Sky Valley. He goes around, he shows us that barn over there by the junction. You can feel the love he has for Sky Valley, and it's so endearing. So I have it.
Susie,
but
do you think that he could send that to the?
I have it.
Would he let us put that on our visitor website?
I'll ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's a public thing. The video is put out by Vimeo.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is that a public bill? A public thing?
It's the city, our visitor website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what he considers his signature race. And I think, I'm at the point where I feel that we're kind of honoring not only Sky Valley, but him and all his hard work.
Yeah.
And 10 years, if we could, I'm thinking through the marketing committee, I don't know, set up something that would be on Sunday, which is the start finish in Sky Valley. And I have been in contact also with Sean's new hire. She is Ash Walsh. She is in charge of his new website. She's in charge of all the marketing. She heads up all the volunteers. She just seems amazing. I have not met her yet. And I asked her, would you be willing to work with somebody in Sky Valley to have us, do a celebration for you? And she said, oh, we would love that. So I'm not the idea person. I'm just I think it should happen person, and I will help. Last year we did throw together something, and the people still talk about it. The Wheelers and the Boykowskis made chili at the end of the Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? Saturday we did. And, the runners, they're just amazing. So, you kind of owe it to yourself to just see them in action, but they're great people. So anyway, Ash said she would work with whoever we
We
wanted
can
to.
certainly set up a city proclamation, and the city will be glad to finance. Did we not help you all finance? the
Yes.
chili? I thought we did.
Yes.
We can certainly do something. We certainly can.
Make a big deal.
We can make a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, they still talk about it. Somebody I was talking to the other day, she said, oh, you're the chili people. quite okay, but, you know, they do appreciate it. And for 100, you know, for 10 years in a row, that would be nice. Okay, questions on that?
Thank you very much. Great information.
Yeah, this is a wonderful idea. I commend you, Susan, for all the work you put into it. It's been well done. And you talk about those properties that we have that we would, perhaps you could offer the owner of that property a trade.
Well, funny you should mention that. Sean said, how about a land trade with him? And then he could probably offer 20 plus if we, I don't know, raise some or however we think about this, but he would do a land trade.
Yeah. So that's a possibility.
We can talk about all these good suggestions. Yeah. And like Bill said, it's a great amenity that we need to look into. Right. Okay,
Madam Mayor,
thank you.
could I be recognized for a moment? This is Jim.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yes. I just want to share with the council that I'm very familiar with the Flint Knob Trail, and it's a great asset for Sky Valley. And anything we can do to secure that, to secure the trailhead, would provide benefits for everybody in Sky Valley and for our visitors. So anything we can do to do that, I'm in favor of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, anybody else? Thank you, Susan. That was great. Thank you so much. All right, let us now go to new business where we consider approval of the proclamation of Arbor Day. We are a national tree city already, Sky Valley is, and as I think Debbie Bellhouse mentioned, the Sky Valley Garden Club has purchased some trees, so we're going to have some planting of trees along the city's going to have, and that will be anywhere from, I think, tomorrow, the 20th through the 29th, because I think the 29th is official Arbor Day, so we will be taking care of that, and that's wonderful. All right, let's move on to number 10 here, which is consider approval of the proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, May 1st through May 7th. It's not, you didn't vote on number 9. We did not vote on number 9. Arbor Day, yes, let us vote. Do I hear a motion to approve proclamation for the Arbor Day?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Karen. What?
That helps with our tree city designation.
Yes, it does. That is part of the Tree City. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Karen. And speaking of Karen, now we're going to the proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, May 1st through May 7th. Our city couldn't run without you, Karen. You can never leave. I've already told her that. We so appreciate all your efforts to keep us straight like we just did me. It's wonderful that we have a certified city clerk. She has completed all classes and certification for this designation. Thank you very much. And I say thank you. Do I hear a motion to declare she is wonderful?
I would be happy with that.
You'll have, you have it. Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I also want to thank Karen and Jason and Rhonda, our new communication specialist, and Clegg, our part-time finance guy, because they have helped keep City Hall running between us losing Alyssa, and we're sorry she's gone, but we know she's having a wonderful time. And Jason had knee surgery and all bunches of stuff, but y'all kept it going, and we appreciate y'all doing that very much. Thank you all. Okay, number 11, consider approval of a resolution to recognize the authorization of the city of Sky Valley to exercise the powers of arrest and to enforce the traffic laws in the state and of the city. So Chief Estes, if you'll review this resolution for us, before we go ahead and have discussions, and also talk about your standard operating procedures for all this good stuff.
All right, we have to do this about every 3 years. Georgia Department of Transportation, we have to re-permit ourselves about every 3 years, showing that we're still in this area, a full-time 24-hour operational police department and things like that. And this really, this doesn't affect city proper. This is really for the state road. Because there is no one other than us that covers that state route. State patrol, never see them or anything. It's through our city, so it's our responsibility. So every 3 years, they make us renew our permit for that. So in doing so, one of the things that we noticed this year was when I started looking for, back when our city was founded, yeah, I was 10, but back when the city was founded, we couldn't find our original permit from the state. It should have been in our archives. Karen and I looked everywhere. There's really nothing left from that time frame in our city. So I contacted Georgia Department of Public Safety, asked them what should we do. They said, do another resolution and keep moving forward. So that's what this is. Otherwise, we would just be doing a renewal. But this year, since we was unable to locate the original one, which would have been done whenever the city was formed and the charter was issued, and we were given the authority to run a police department. And as a matter of fact, if you look in your ordinances online, if you get on the online thing, you'll go to chapter 38. And that outlines the authority of the police department as issued through the original city charter, which is on file with the state, which is on file with the federal government, you know, from the Department of Justice all the way down to our county. So it's on file with everyone, but we couldn't find our original copy, and it should have been in our archives. We didn't have it. So the workaround was reissue this and move forward. So we have everything except this one document. So we just need, plus the signatures would have been 50 years old. We would have to redo it anyway, because no one of the original signatures are still in our city government or anything from that time. But this is something that we do repeat every 3 years. Last time we did this was in 2018, and we just filed for our, update, went through rubber stamp pretty much, no problem. This year, you all may know, the Georgia Department of Public Safety about 1.5 years ago got hacked. A lot of records and stuff like that were lost. So now the state's moving to another type of digital format. When I was with the GBI, we went from paper to digital. So you had to scan everything in. So did it get lost in that process? We don't know. The burden is ours, though. The burden is ours to maintain our original copy. We couldn't find anything from that 1978 founding other than multiple copies of the city charter. And the city charter references the document. We have our ordinances referencing the document. We just can't find the physical document to scan in and send them, because now they want everything scanned in digitally and preserved. They no longer want paper records. They want digital records. So this will put us in full compliance with the digital age, and it will get us once again updated for the next 3 years. We will be good to go. And it only pertains to state route. It doesn't pertain to the city streets, the county roads, or anything like that. It also doesn't affect the state route that's within North Carolina. North Carolina has a whole other section of rules, which we're still in compliance with them because our MOU with North Carolina is still valid. Whenever that expires, we will have to go through a similar process with the state of North Carolina to obtain their permission to help them whenever they ask us. Okay, we gotta have your permission to help you when you ask us to help? Yes, but that's kind of the process that we have with our MOU with North Carolina. So it's kind of one of those things that ever so often it rolls around to be updated, and you have to have everything done. And as times have changed, our roads haven't changed. Oh, now if we were in a city where the roads had changed, you have to go through and do all new road descriptions and things of that nature. Our road hasn't changed, so it's pretty much just a renewal every year.
It's just the state roads you're talking about.
Yes, this is for Highway 246. Now, if you go to your proclamation or your city ordinance in 38, it identifies the state road as well as all of our city streets. And these are completely separate. City county, and state, because you answer to different governing authorities under the 3 different types of roads that you have. County road, county, state, state, city, city. And basically, this allows us to run our cases through our municipal court.
Right.
So you run your things through your municipal court. Otherwise, you have to go down to the state court.
Gotcha. Any questions or comments?
Now, motor carrier vehicles, just to answer that question, a motor carrier vehicle, for example, a semi like we have quite often, wrecks out on 246, we still have, we usually work all the wrecks within our city. But when there is a motor carrier crash, semi, we still reach out to the state and let them come in because they have a special authority that we don't have for motor carrier vehicles. So they can come in and check the motor carriers for specialized violations. They check the way the loads were loaded, the way the air brakes are calibrated, everything. And they got a full checklist that they go through.
Is that a normal routine that they come up every so often?
When there's a motor carrier involved in an accident, they're deployed statewide, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Used to be called the old DOT, used to see DOT enforcement vehicles running around. They've rebranded it and renamed them, but yes, it's the exact same agency. They've just kind of rebranded their name, but yeah, they do it statewide on motor carrier vehicles.
Okay. I have a motion to consider approval of this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Second.
Second.
Discussion.
I was concerned when I read that we were, gonna turn into like a mountain city, become a speed trap. And I was talking to Dave, and Dave said, no, that's not the case. So I just wanted to, in case clear that up with anybody that might have thought the same thing. Because I heard complaints about that. So.
Yeah, we get lots of questions and comments about that, and people have even tried to report us to the state, but our numbers are so low on speeding tickets that they laugh us out of the conversation, because most places write more in one day than we write in a month. So they're kind of like, okay, yeah. So, but we deal with that concern a lot, and we get accused of a lot of things that are.
Do you have an SOP for when you stop someone for speeding, who you give a ticket to and who you don't?
No, we follow state law.
Okay.
We follow state law, state guidelines.
You do give out warnings.
Yes.
Okay.
We give out probably way more warnings, especially inside of our city. I can't remember the last time we actually wrote a stop sign violation, and there's probably a dozen of them a day just right here at this one. But we try to be friendly to our visitors, because a lot of people are riding around looking at the stars or the leaves or whatever, and they'll drive through these stop signs and they don't really, we try to be friendly, but after about the third, fourth time I've had to tell you there's a stop sign there, yeah, you might get one. But our goal is to keep people safe, not to punish them for coming and enjoying our city.
Well, I certainly know that there isn't anybody we don't want to be known as a speed trap, but I certainly can attest to the fact when I had been out on Highway 246 painting hay bales, my goodness, there's some people that go like 100 miles an hour.
Yes, the record that I have officially on y'all know the little sign that flashes. The record on it is 79 miles an hour. Okay, right there, 79 miles an hour is the record on that
So
sign.
that little machine records?
Yes, it keeps stats. It has a 98% violation rate. Which means 98% of the people that are driving by it are speeding. And we've got it adjusted to where it don't count them unless they're doing 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. So you can imagine it would be well over 100% at that point. But that's what we call they call that a soft measure, because it doesn't mail you a ticket, but it does flash and tell you, hey, speed limit, slow down. And that's the purpose of that. We've thought about buying another one and putting back down on the other end of 246 where that sign used to be. Down the mountain is 25, and where it's currently at is 35 mile an hour zones. And most of the guys write tickets. They usually give people, the benefit of the doubt. They'll flick their lights, they'll flash their lights, slow down. But, I don't think we write tickets under, 20 miles an hour over, but when you can hear the tires squealing, before you ever see the car, they're probably hauling it. And usually they're doing double the speed limit. So we do have a lot of that. But no, there is no, we do not say, hey, you will write people at 11 miles an hour. Over. No, ma'am, we do not do
Did
that.
you want to say something?
No, but I just want to make a side note comment about tickets because this came up recently. We had a person who received a ticket coming in. They came into City Hall to pay their ticket. And they were not happy about the service charge that the credit card company charges. We do not get one dime of that service charge. I think it's like 7%. We told this citizen, we're not Walmart. We don't negotiate small amounts. We did reach out to our contract company we use, Government Window. We've negotiated from 7% to 5% to try to be a good customer service. We do not, they receive that money. The credit card company receives that. I just wanted this citizen did write a letter to City Hall in case they happen to watch this, but I just wanted to reiterate, the city receives the ticket fee. The city does not receive the credit card service fee. So
Although we don't get to keep all the ticket fee.
No, I mean, it goes to various things, but I'm just saying, the concern was it was like $13 extra, which was 7% of $175 ticket. I just wanted to just go on the record and say, we do not receive that service fee.
So that was discussed fully when the city decided to go to online payments as a convenience fee, because we were having people calling from Florida. I don't want to drive back up there to come to court and pay my ticket. What's my workaround? Pay it online was the easiest thing, and that's pretty much industry standard.
I didn't want to get off topic and I was waiting on a vote, but I just wanted to use this opportunity to say that.
Thank you, sir.
And the police department does not take your payment. Stop asking. You can't pay me on the side of the road. Yeah, we call that, no, just don't even try.
Is there a standard flat fee for a ticket, like if you?
No.
Okay, is there a charge for a warning?
Warnings have no charge. Warnings have no charge.
Okay.
It's a warning.
Okay.
A full citation is depending on the violation. Every violation has an approved fine assessed to it that has been assessed by the city. Probably, I'm not sure when the last time we updated a couple of them a couple of years ago, but the majority of them have been in place for years. But every charge that the city will ever citation, we will give you, whether it's a building code violation all the way to a traffic violation, it has a set amount.
Right,
Yes,
so if
ma'am.
I'm driving 80 miles an hour through there, that little flashing sign will go, probably explode, but I'll get a really big ticket.
Not from the sign does not issue tickets. It just tells you, slow down.
Dave around the corner will give you.
Okay, all right. Have we had a first and a second? Okay, all in favor of considering approval of approving this resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, now we're on to public forum. Anybody can stand up and talk to the council. Please state your name, your address, that's part of our charter, and please keep it to a maximum of 3 minutes. Mr. Podcast.
Cal Pointkowski, 66 Pleasant Road. At the November 9th work session, Jolie Mixon went over her audit findings. One of her findings was that decisions of the marketing committee and council must be, quote, to the benefit of the city, not private enterprises, end quote. Jolie pointed out the webcam on the city's website directs users to the Sky Valley Country Club instead of the city. It's now 5 months later and no changes have been made. I'm aware that the marketing committee claimed that the physical location of the camera determined the banner, but that isn't necessarily true. I submitted an open records request regarding the webcam, and nowhere in the documents that the city provided does it mention the banner is determined by the location of the webcam. There is a resort cams in Waynesville, North Carolina. The banner identifies it as Waynesville, NC with the temperature and weather conditions. Embedded in the upper right-hand corner in a visible but unobtrusive way of the image is, quote, most general store. Maybe we could adopt a similar strategy. Sky Valley GA in the main banner with the Sky Valley Country Club embedded in the upper right-hand corner. As it is now, the club's website uses the webcam and lists it as Sky Valley Webcam. This change that I'm proposing would serve the city as well as the club. It would also show that the city is implementing suggestions of the city auditor, eliminating potential problems in the future.
Thank you, Al. Thank you. Any other, public forum comments? Rudy?
I have a question and a comment. Which do you want first?
Either one.
Well, okay, I'll give you my comment first. My comment is, I love that, and I've been sick, so I've been here much, but it used to be a lot of strife, a lot of division. And I went Holly because the city seems to be not having the division that we had. And it was, it was pretty sad. It was pretty tough because everybody was my friend, but you had to be on one side or on the other side. I was just trying to do what was right. Everything I picked in my life to be on the right side. So I thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for that publicly, so I knew that. The second thing I want to say is that I got a phone call 2 days ago asking me about the some water fee that's on our bill now that was never there before. And I said, I don't know anything about it, but I'll ask at the council meeting what it's about, because I don't know anything about it, why it's in place or anything. So could you all?
Certainly. It's through a company called Servline, and Jason, we went through a whole deal to adopt this, and the reasons, go ahead. Would you take
Well,
it?
it is, the city partnered with this company, Servline Home Serve. Basically, what it is a leak protection. You can opt out if you choose to. It's $2.50 a month. And if you were to have what they call a qualifying leak, you submit your information to Servline. They may ask for a copy of a plumbing receipt where you had the leak fixed, etc. And then they would take your average bill over the last 12 months. Most people, it may be the minimum of $62.50 or $65 if you participate. And let's say your water bill was $1,000. You get that leak fixed, you submit that claim through Servline, you would pay your normal fee or your average, which is kind of like a deductible, even though it's not called a deductible. You would pay your portion, and then they would pay the $935 per se. And you get one adjustment or one claim in a calendar year. So if you had a leak on June 1st of this year, you would not be able to file another claim until June 1st of 2023.
So what pipe is covered? Inside or outside, both?
Well, there's if you look through the information that was sent out through all those meetings, and Servline can give you that as well. We'll go ahead and give you that number. I've had to call them a couple of times. They're very quick to answer the phone, but they have a list of what is qualifying leaks and what is not. Examples are a busted pipe would be a qualifying leak.
But I'm asking, is it, so I had a leak outside, my pipe outside, and I dig down like 8 feet and helped the plumber go in there and fix it because the pipe was bad. I've never had a leak inside. Does it cover inside and outside? That's my question.
I would really want to defer that to Servline because they're the one who pays that claim, but they have a list of, again, they call qualifying leaks. It sounds like a qualifying leak, but I don't want to be the definitive answer on that.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that Servline covers not the repair of the pipe.
No.
$2.50 covers excess water consumption from the leak, so that you wouldn't have to pay that.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, it's inside or out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they have an option to upgrade to cover for additional charge between the homeowner and them, not through the city, to cover the repairs as well.
Jason, you probably ought to call Surfline and just get a stack of their brochures and try to hand out when people have that question.
Yeah,
We can do that.
we can do that. And maybe we need to, at the next meeting, just go over all that again. At our next council meeting, we'll get the representative, and we'll go through all this stuff. Does that answer your question at all, Rudy?
Well, it lets me know that we're gonna get an answer, so thanks.
And you can opt out.
So I didn't know we opted in.
It was automatic.
I never saw it, I don't pay attention, I feel like this.
Yeah, it was all- it came on the bill, yeah. Yeah. That's two demerits, Rudy.
Sorry.
Yeah,
And it's been well used so far. There's
Yeah.
been a lot of
We've had
leaks
some-
and claims, so it seems to be, it's well received for the citizenry. I don't know about for several. but-
I think it'd be a good idea to put it in the Sky Valley Times.
Yeah,
And let's
yeah.
get some brochures that could be picked up.
usually our ordinance said that if you had a leak, that the council would consider it one time every 5 years. So we decided that wasn't good enough, so that's why we went with this, and there's a bunch of cities around here who use this company, and they were all pleased with this company. So we'll get you that information.
The company is run by Home Serve.
No, sir, is it Servline or Home?
Well, Home Serve, I guess, is the vision of Surfline.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fundamentally the same thing.
They offered me a job several years ago,
Oh, did they?
but I went to work with all these companies.
Okay.
Jerry, got a quick question because people are asking me. The last month or so, the water is a lot of air in it. Is that going to continue, or are there issues that we're continuing to have on the water?
Is it in a particular area? I mean,
No, I mean, anytime I turn the spigot on and other people are saying the same thing, it looks like milk coming out.
no, I mean, we can come around and flush them. I think y'all been doing some too. Haven't you been flushing?
Yeah, we did some hydrants here, but that was all Winding Rich.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, he's right. I've got-
I mean, it doesn't take, it's just I'm having people ask me and we're having the same issue.
Well, if there is a leak and it's repaired, you sometimes get water and maybe a
yeah, it
discoloration.
gets a lot of air in it. It does that, but, I can send them around and we can flush hydrants in those sections and see if that'll help you out.
Yeah, it's not a big issue. Just like I say. people-
Unless there's, if there's another leak somewhere else, it could be doing that as well, if we're not aware of it. I mean, it could do that too.
There's questions, any more comments? All right, with that being said, it is time for, do I hear a motion for adjournment? So moved, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank y'all for coming today, it was great.